podcast. Súbele volumen. Conversation with the people who were with me. In the world of TV. Carlos tonight. Historias de un reportero. Carlos tonight. Dale que viene lo bueno.
Hey everyone, welcome to Carlos Tonight. Thank you so much for listening on your favorite podcast platform. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Big shout out to my friend Charlie in Dallas, Texas for checking out the podcast. Thank you. I appreciate your support. As you can see, I'm back in the kitchen while I'm packing up the studio, and I'm very excited to introduce you to this week's guest. Toy Blackmon is an author. She has just released a memoir called The Secret She Kept and the Lies She Told, now available on Amazon and wherever you get your books. So let's join Toy. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about this book.
Well, it's all about me, a lot of sex, a lot of portrayal. Cause baby, I did some things when I was younger.
Oh boy. Those are great elements. What'd you say? Sex and
Sex and
betrayal? Okay.
yeah.
So tell me, when did you start writing this book?
I started in 2017 writing the book. I put it out first in 2018, raw and uncut, but I was like, I'm just gonna release it the right way. I got a good feedback from the raw and uncut version, which was when I dropped it in 2018. So I sold over 100 copies of it like that. And then recently, since I started my podcast, and when I speak on the book, everybody be like, you should release it again. You should release it again. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do it the right way this time. So I went back, reread it, and I added some things that I see I left out. So now it's more juicier than before.
Oh boy, okay. So Toy, tell us what inspired you to write the book in the first place.
My friend, she was like, I should write a book because I was always going through some things. And then I was telling her a lot of things that happened to me. And she was like, you should write a book because you got some stories to tell. And I was like, I don't even know where to start to write a book. And she was like, just write. So that's what I did. I just wrote. It wasn't like a consistent write. It was write, sometimes stop, forget about it, start back, things like that.
It's so cool when we have people in our lives. Like I have a friend too. Her name is Lindsay, who was pushing me about starting a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I finished the first season, she goes, "You should continue it." When I was kind of like, eh. But yeah, it's good to have people in our lives that push us to do, creative things and things that we can share with everybody. In the process of writing your memoir, did you ever stop and think, wait, I'm getting too personal with it? And how did you overcome that and move forward?
I really didn't because I always been an open book. So um I never cared about what anyone thought about me. So it was just like, baby, I'm gonna change the names in these books
Yeah.
because some of the stories, like I'm literally telling my side of the story now because um a lot of people told their side, but nobody wanted to listen to me because they were that person friends. So a lot of it is me telling my side of the story because I always looked at like I'm just this whole friend that fuck everybody man.
hmm What can people learn from picking up your memoir?
A lot. Like don't me, it's the strip club for me. Like when it comes to the younger generation running to the strip clubs to be a stripper because they seeing all the Black Chinas and the Amaroses and things like that. Those big names, people that started out as dancers and now they're not dancers anymore. Like it's not always like that.
Mhm. Can you give me an example or like a story that is featured in your book?
It's a lot. Um, hmm.
Maybe a favorite?
Let's talk about when I was 8 months pregnant and I got raped. So I was walking to school. I was only 15 years old then. I was walking to school and this guy pulled up next to me while I was walking. And at first he was just walking and talking to me. And then I think like I turned or something to where I wasn't paying attention anymore. And then he got out and snatched me and put me in the car.
Oh my gosh.
So he takes me somewhere, have sex with me, and the old man heard me screaming, and the old man saved my life. I wish I remember his name, because I really would try to find him, but pray he's not dead right now. But yeah, he probably is. But um, he saved me, and when he saved me, I was able to leave, but I had to walk back to school.
Mhm.
And remind you where I was probably an hour or two for walking to get back to my school. So when I got to school, instead of me going straight home, because I stayed up the streets from the school, and I literally got to my house first before I would get to school, but I didn't go home. I just went straight to school. And as I'm walking to school and I get close to walking on campus, one of the administrators seen me, and she was like, "Why you just coming to school?" But as she see me getting closer, she noticed that I'm crying.
Mhm.
So she ran up to me and grabbed me and was asking me what happened. I told her, and they called the police. And thank God I was able to remember the guy tag number. So I gave them the tag number, and they called the police and stuff.
Wow. Was it difficult, like reliving that for the memoir?
Yeah,
How did you
yeah.
get through it?
I paused. I had paused on that part, and it took me a while before I started writing it back. And I'm like, you know what? I got to get it out,
Mhm.
because rape victims, some people, they tell their story and some don't. And some don't because they feel like people gonna judge them. I say it's their fault. I say they lying. And to be honest, like I didn't go home because I thought my mom would say it's my fault. I'm already pregnant as a young girl. So that's why I went straight to school instead of going home.
Mhm. What do you want, particularly young girls who read your memoir and experience this story that you just told me? What do you want them to learn from that experience?
Always always stay safe and watch your surroundings,
Hmm.
because I was always the type of person that when guys pull up on me and try to talk to me, I don't like that type of stuff. I don't like attention. Even though I was a dancer, I do not like attention. I don't like for guys to grab on me. I don't like that. So I just say, just carry yourself respectfully. No matter how you dress, still be respectful, because you can be half dressed and still have carry yourself respectful, and people will respect that.
Yeah, I feel that there's a lot of people out there who take advantage,
Yeah.
of the situation.
Yeah.
Um, Personally, what did you learn from writing this memoir about yourself?
Oh my God. I learned that I was a big, I can cuss.
Oh yeah, that.
I learned that I was a hoe, man. I was a big ass hoe. But it was like I wasn't doing it intentionally. I literally was doing what I saw. So
Mhm.
I was living with no guidance and looking at people that had no respect for their self and things like that on the outsides in front of everybody else. Yeah, they was acting like they had this respect for themselves, but behind closed doors, and me being with them behind closed doors, it was not a pretty sight. So it was like I learned, because I was a follower too.
Mhm.
So I literally learned to be a leader, not a follower. Um, like I told you, I never care what anyone says. But the things I did back then, I wouldn't dare do them now. And I wish that I had the mindset that I have now back then. Because when I was a dancer, all the money that I was making, Lord Jesus.
Is that what attracted you to being a dancer? Was the money?
Yes. I went to the strip club one night with a friend This is in the book too. I went to the strip club one night with a friend. I was just going to hang out because I was bored and I was in the house, so I just wanted to go out. So I told her I was going to go to work with her, and she was like, "Okay." So I went there. I'm chilling. I'm vibing. I'm seeing all this money they making. I'm like, "Bitch, I'm coming back tomorrow." So
Exactly.
at the end of the night, I told the manager, I was like, "I'm coming back tomorrow." He was like, "No, you're not." I was like, "I'm so serious and I'm not coming back to hang out. I'm coming back to dance." He
Mhm,
was like, "Okay, we'll see." And I went back the next night. And then from there, like I never had, I was in and out. So I ain't gonna say I never had left.
mhm.
But from there, it was, yeah,
And then you mentioned you liked the money, but the part where like they were touching you inappropriately, that part you didn't like.
I hated that. I hated that. But as a dancer, like I said, you still have to carry yourself respectfully
Hmm.
because even though I was a dancer, I didn't like them touching all on my pussy. Only thing I allowed them to do, they can rub on my butt, but my pussies and my titties was off limit. Don't
Hmm.
touch me, bro. Like you don't have to touch me for me to dance on you.
Right. Did you have to like get physical with people at one point?
Oh, plenty of times. I don't hit guys across the head with bottles. I don't spit in people's face. I don't fault them all because they was being disrespectful. Because I never do champagne rooms. I don't do rooms because
Hmm.
I know what goes on in there. So no, you're not gonna get me in no room. So I think one night I was gullible, and because he was saying, "No, I ain't like that. We just gonna talk." And we get in there and he was being disrespectful. So I bust him across his shit and then walked out the room and went and got security.
Oh my god.
And then they beat his ass and put him out the club.
Good. I saw somewhere where you said that most of your life you've never been single. Tell us, why is that? Is
It
it because of the job?
the phone went out. He said most of my life.
Oh, I'm sorry. I understand that you spent most of your life with a man and you were never single for a long time. Why is that?
Because I think I was scared to be alone. I think I was just scared to be alone. So I was like from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. And it was just like, when is gonna stop?
Yeah.
I just think I never wanted to be alone. I'm the only child. So when I was growing up, I was always around my cousins. So I think that's what it is. Like I always had someone around me. So yeah.
How emotional did you get writing this memoir?
Um, when I got to the part when I'm talking about my mom in the book, because my mom passed in 2015. So as I was writing the book, she had already passed.
Mhm.
So me, whenever I brought her up in a book, it was like, oh my God, I remember this like it was yesterday. So I'll
Yeah.
smile and just write what she'll say and just try to keep it pushing.
Mhm. Seems like you talk about a lot of relationships in your memoir, and a lot of people have their definition of a good relationship. What's your definition of a good relationship?
Loyalty. Everything is loyalty. It's about loyalty. Someone that makes you happy in the inside. But first, you have to make yourself happy. That was my problem. I never made myself happy. So I look for happiness from other people.
Hmm.
So once I learned that, which I just learned that in 2019, I just learned how to make myself happy.
Wow.
So now I can respect when I have something good because I don't ran across a lot of good men, but I didn't know how to accept them. And I
Mhm.
pushed them away or I ran because it was like, oh no, you're too good. Like something's wrong with you, you know? But
Yeah.
yet when it came to the dog ass guys, it was I loved them with open arms and then pushed them away. I
Yeah.
guess because they was I see the shit. But with the people that was good to me, it was like, nah, man, you too damn good. Something wrong. And I ain't like them.
Mhm. I know that earlier you said that you really don't care what people think of you when you're writing the book. Was there ever a fear sharing your story? and maybe a coworker or a friend or a loved one see the person that you are?
No, because I'm not that person anymore.
Hmm.
So I don't care. When I released it, I was just like, I always say that on my Facebook page. I'm like, okay, it's up, it's out. Like, I don't care what y'all think. We never did, but still, I'm just letting y'all know that it's not me anymore. I am a totally new person. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
how I always say, yeah.
yeah, that's the truth. Good for you. Toy, so you're also a fellow podcaster, as you mentioned. Tell us about your show and what made you start it in the first place.
I seen my co-hosts. I seen her one day. She was on live, and I always wanted to start a show. I tried to start one with two other people, but it just never had happened
Mhm.
to where we started. We never got a chance to start. So I seen her on live one day, and it was kind of like something similar what I wanted to do that she was talking about because she was promoting people products and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna reach out to her and see if she'll be my co-host. So
Mhm.
I end up calling her because we're friends. So I end up calling her over the phone, telling her my vision, and she was like, "That's crazy. I was just sitting down saying that I want to start a podcast, and then here you come calling me." She was like, "Let's do it." So with my podcast, what we focus on is everyday questions that people have that they want others' opinions on because
Mhm.
everybody have a different opinion when it comes to different things.
Right.
Like we talked about relationships before, we talked about popularity.
Mhm.
So me and her is totally different. We think totally different, but we don't clash.
Right.
We don't try to force each other to believe what the other one think about the situation. So it really works out.
Having a podcast, it's not easy, but it's a lot of fun. What's other things that you want people, your listeners, to walk away with from checking out your podcast?
When you check out my podcast, we're very serious. We try to stay away from politics and God. I mean, yeah, politics and God. But at
Same
the
here.
yeah, but last night for some reason we talked about the Roe versus Wade. But to be
Hmm.
honest, it was fun. It was fun. We didn't make it so but it was fun.
Right.
But we don't talk about those two things. So we're just fun. Both of us speak our mind. We don't hold our tongue. However we feel about a situation, we're gonna state how we feel, and we don't give a fuck how nobody else take it or think about it.
I love it. So, okay, so tell me, how do you juggle it all? Your memoir, the podcast, social media, promotion. It's a lot of work.
And you know what's crazy? I am the one that makes our flyer. I am the one that do the promotion, the marketing. Like she works, she have a full-time job. So right now I'm not working. So everything is like easy for me to juggle. So I'm good at promotion. I love promoting. I love that. I love it so much. So me, it's nothing for me to just when I think about it, that's when I just promote the podcast and my book. And I also have a business. So I just be promoting myself. And whatever's a hit is a hit. That's
Yeah,
how I be feeling.
you do it. All right, your podcast is available wherever people get their podcasts, and your book, The Secret She Kept and the Lies She Told, is available now on Amazon. How can we connect with you, Toy?
You can reach me at I have two emails. If you want me to be a guest on your show, you can email me at toyblackman at icloud.com, or you can reach me at T it's the initials of my book. TS something. Okay, just do Toy Blackman at iCloud.
I'll get it from
Cause
you, and then I'll
yeah,
put it
cause
in.
I definitely can't remember right now.
I
But
got you.
it's just every initial of the book, and then at gmail.com.
Perfect. I'll put that in the show notes so people can connect with you. Toy Blackman, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you. Same year.
And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Carlos Tonight. It was written and produced by yours truly, Carlos Correa. My theme by Skin Galas. Check out carlostonight.com for the latest on the podcast, the upcoming guests, and check out past episodes. That's carlostonight.com.